Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For some time ago, I had done a review of the Halloween movie series. I did it like a long time ago. I left it all in one video. But since we're in October, excuse me, since we're in October, I feel that it's very appropriate to discuss the Halloween movies one by one. I'm going to do the best I can with it. It's been a long time since I've seen some of these films. I'm going to do the best I can and review them. I might interrupt the series by reviewing other horror films. So if I do that, please do. But first, we're going to get to all the Halloween films. One thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to do the remakes that Rob Zombie did. I'm just going to stick to the original movie series. Even possibly get into Halloween H2O and Halloween Resurrection. Even though I have not seen Halloween H2O. If it's ever on TV again, I'm probably record with T-Row and then watch it. But all the other films I watched completely. So that was a little bit long explanation. But I'm going to do the very first Halloween. For this video, I'm going to do the very first Halloween film, which came out in 1978. So of course this year, 2018, is the 40th anniversary of the very first Halloween film. And of course this movie was a completely independent film. It was made for about $325,000. So it was a very, very limited budget, and this movie made about like $40 or $50 million in the box office because of word of mouth spread like crazy with this film. It was very limited release in 1978. It's not like today where this movie would be shown about like 3,000 or 4,000 theaters across the country in one shot. This movie was moved like from town to town, limited release. Like it would play for New York for 2 weeks, and then go to like say Chicago or Boston or Philadelphia or something like that. But this movie, because of word of mouth, the movie spread, and even Roger Ebert, who very rarely gives, when he was alive, very rarely would give 4 stars to a horror movie. He barely would give like 1 or 2 stars to a horror movie usually. But for Halloween, he gave 4 stars too, because everything in this film works. Because this film, of course, stars Donald Pleasence as Dr. Sam Loomis. I'm going to get to all these characters in a minute. So Jamie introduced Jamie Lee Curtis to the world. This was really her breakout role, her role who made her career. And she was only 19 years. I thought she was actually 18, but she was 19 years old at the time. I don't know if she was 19 years old at the time she filmed it or when the movie came out. But I think she was 19 at the time the film came out. And you also had P.J. Soles. You had I forgot. Sorry, drawing a blank. The other girl who played the other girl, the brunette in the show, in the film. Because this movie was directed by John Carpenter, who also wrote the famous theme music for Halloween. So that became such an iconic thing, movie thing. And this movie, even though there were like slasher movies before them, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you could say Psycho, but this movie set the trend on the serial killer that cannot die. No matter what you do to this guy, he cannot be killed. You can shoot him 100 times, set him on fire. You could, chop his neck off or chop his head off, which Jamie Lee Curtis does do in Halloween H2O. I mean, when she chops his head off, before you hear it at the end of the film. But no matter what you could do with this guy, he never gets killed. And also this film, it also sets the trend about the only person who does not get killed is the one who doesn't have sex or keeps her virginity. It's the only one who could be the mass killer. Even though they upped that more in the Friday the 13th films, this one really was the one who set all those rules for the other slasher films that came down the pike. And the other famous serial killers that came down the pike. Of course, Michael Myers in the film, who was the killer, was actually just called The Shape throughout the whole, pretty much in the credits in the film. Even though he was constantly called Michael Myers in the film, it was in the credits it was called The Shape. And Nick Castle mostly played the part for the film, even though so for some of the stunts that when at the end of the film when he falls off the balcony into the backyard, that was played by a stuntman, and even Deborah Hill, who co-wrote the screenplay. Sorry, that's my phone. Who wrote the screenplay of the film. Played Michael Myers in the beginning when he went to kill his sister in the opening sequence. Of course, the opening sequence was what, not only the music, but the opening sequence of the film was what really set the scene in this set the trend in this film. Where you have a completely point of view shot of Michael Myers when he was about 6 years old in a clown costume. And of course, later on in the series, which hopefully we'll eventually get to, the clown costume will come up again in the fourth film. But this one, you see from completely his point of view, when he puts the mask on the camera lens, and they use a Steadicam for those movies, and that was a new technology at that time, and it was briefly used in the first Rocky film, which came out like 2 years earlier. So this is like brand new technology to follow the perspective and the point of view of the killer, which of course was also used for Jason in the Friday the 13th films as well. The Steadicam and the point of view angle, and you see the camera go up to the house, that goes around to the back of the house into the kitchen. You see Detective Deborah Hill's hand picking up the knife, goes up the steps, and you see after his older sister has sex with a boyfriend, you see her naked. And you actually do see her naked in the. It's almost kind of like Psycho. You briefly see nudity, but not. And then when you see the more nudity later on in the film, and she goes, Michael, and he stabs her just like it's similar to the shower scene in Psycho, that particular sequence. And then of course he comes out of the house, parents meet him, and he says, Michael, and they rip the mask off him, the clown mask off him, and he's just standing there holding the knife with a blank look on his face. And for 15 years he was in the insane asylum, and Dr. Loomis was played by Donald Pleasence, who's only a real big star, because he already was an established star already. And originally they wanted Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee to play him, but Peter Cushing had just done Star Wars, which came out the year before. So naturally, of course, his salary went up, and they couldn't afford, because they only had like $300,000 to play him out with originally, and the other $25,000 went to Donald Pleasence. So that's why it's $325,000 for the budget. And he says, "Oh, it's he's too famous at that point now, because he just was in Star Wars." So they got Donald Pleasence instead, and he thought he was great. He was in the first 6 movies of the series, and he was absolutely terrific. And unfortunately, except for playing Blofeld, and You Only Live Twice, this was the only other movie role that Donald Pleasence was known for. And he, like I said earlier, he did a great job. You can't do a better job than he did in these movies. And he's warning everybody that Michael Myers should stay in the asylum because of, he's like pure evil. He's got like the blackest eyes, and talking about all this other stuff. And then, of course, Michael Myers escaped the asylum. He killed a nurse. Well, he didn't exactly kill her. He killed an ambulance doctor. Steals the car. It was like a station. It was like a station wagon converted to like an ambulance or something. An ambulance. He says, "How the hell can you this guy drive a car?" Well, apparently he had lessons, right? And he happens to go home to the fictional town of Haddonfield, Illinois. The name Haddonfield was actually from New Jersey, Haddonfield, New Jersey. But the movie was filmed in Pasadena, California. So they had to film it in such a way to avoid the palm trees, and they had to film it in a certain way to put like leaves on the ground, so it would look like it's actually fall with the leaves on the ground and stuff. And of course, he had Jamie Lee Curtis playing Laurie Strode, which of course, they wanted to see the movie scene in the second film. You notice that she was actually Michael Myers' sister, but he didn't know that at that point. And he doesn't know that she was babysitting, and this guy, Michael Myers, was like running around, hiding behind the bushes. When he first gets to Haddonfield, and he's in the house, his own house, which is now abandoned. And of course you see, Michael Myers stalking not only Jamie Lee Curtis, but two friends. PJ Soles, who says totally, way too much. She sounds like more like a valley girl than a girl that's supposed to be is in Illinois. And of course, her other friend, Linda, I believe the name of the other friend, was also babysitting. So like within a couple of doors from each other, while babysitting, they were talking on the phone, and you have this guy Michael Myers going around killing everybody, and here comes Dr. Loomis is trying to convince people and the sheriff in town, played by Charles Cyphers, who of course 91 was in the first Major League movie, played the GM in that film. Sam Loomis was running around warning the town that danger coming, had to look for this guy and trained to look for him on Halloween. And it was a little hard to do because people were dressed up in costumes, and you don't know if this guy's in a costume or not. And of course, you see, there was one particular scene where he's in the hardware store when he steals the knife. Michael Myers does. When he steals the knife and he steals the mask, which was actually an old mask of William Shatner, by the way, in the movie that he did in the early 70s. And they used that, they painted it completely white. They did some took off the sideburns of the mask, and that's the mask they used for the whole city. You know, they varied a little bit in the later films, but that was the original Halloween mask, was the William Shatner mask. And now, just about every Halloween costume store, like Abracadabra, so you see that, or your average drugstore or something, you see that mask now. You know, everybody sells that mask now, and it's really for hey, it's Michael Myers mask, and you know what it is, because the movie is shown all the time on cable or wherever else for Halloween. Anyway, you see Michael Myers stalking not only Jamie Lee Curtis but the two other girlfriends first, and of course there's a famous nude scene with PJ Soles, who's the only real name of the three girls at that time. I mean, she has sex with her boyfriend in the house, and he goes down for a store, and that's one of the most famous of the most famous kill, the only real on-screen kill you see in the first Halloween film is when PJ Soles' boyfriend gets killed, right? Standing in the kitchen, he's holding him up, and after he kills him, it looks like this. You know, he does that like, side to side, and then of course PJ Soles gets killed, and her top goes down, and she's completely topless. She's naked. And she goes, "You see anything you like?" And you see her boobs, and I think knowing the lines that Don Pleasence says, "Evil's come to your little town" and stuff. That's the only other famous line in this film where you see where PJ Soles says, "You see anything you like?" And to this day, 4 years later, people are still quoting the line to her. All these years later. And of course, she gets killed. And of course, the other famous scene when PJ Soles says that line, you see Michael Myers comes in wearing the bed sheet and wearing the boyfriend's glasses. And I thought that was really, I'm like, why? Why was that part in that scene necessary? Because we know the boyfriend gets killed, so why does he have to? Michael Myers puts on the bed sheet, and it looks like it goes with the glasses. I don't know why he does that, because he's wearing his own mask anyway. So that's the only one real major nitpick. And then of course, he goes after the other girl. Michael Myers goes after the other girl in the scene in the film. kills her, and then goes after. You don't see PJ Souls actually kill, but or you don't see. You see the bodies later on when they pop out from the room or whatever. You see their bodies, because Michael Myers takes the bodies somewhere, and you see them drop down, and you see them pop out of a closet or something. The bodies, so you don't really see those two girls get killed. Just PJ Souls' boyfriend was killed. That's the only on-screen, like I said earlier, the only on-screen kill you see in the film. And then of course you see him stalking Jamie Lee Curtis. And she's running around the house, and she's trying to save the two kids that she was babysitting. And the boy Tommy says, "So you can't kill the boogeyman because they were calling him the boogeyman. Or at least Tommy was throughout the whole film. Oh, he's the boogeyman, the boogeyman. You can't kill him." And they took that for the rest of the film. And then of course, Jamie Lee Curtis does run down the steps, or falls down the steps. Michael Myers stabs her in the arm. She goes down, and then she ends up in another house in the bedroom. And that's when Michael Myers comes in, and Donald Pleasence shoots him 6 times, empties his whole gun into Michael Myers, and that's when he falls back, crashes through a window, or a balcony door, goes through the balcony door, goes up and over the side, and you see him lying down, apparently dead. And Jamie Lee Curtis says, "Was that the boogeyman?" And Donald Pleasence says, "Maybe." And that's when Donald Pleasence, with a great take, goes to the window, and looks over the balcony, and then you see the body gone, which is like so creepy, and it leaves you with such a big cliffhanger, and you want to know, what will happen next, and then you hear the music, and you have just now you don't really hear the music quite yet, but when you see a montage of still images of the house that they went in, completely empty. So, where's the killer? Where's the boogeyman? You know, and you don't see anything. It was a really great ending, great suspenseful moment at the end of the film. I mean, the build great suspense, and then it leaves you on a cliffhanger. So, what will happen next? And and that's how the original movie ended. With that, I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, you know, that may just. I mean, who hasn't seen the original Halloween film by now? And it was really suspenseful. It was really great, and really loved this movie. And like I said, it set the trend for the slasher films from the 80s to the early 90s. Set up for so many other films that ripped this premise off. Even movies that came out before that, like Black Christmas, which I haven't seen yet, or the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or other films, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, so many other, or Terror Train, so many other films ripped off that that premise with the guy, or the other character that's named, and that's Pinhead. I forgot what movie series he was in the character Pinhead with the Pinhead, or Chucky, the doll, Charles Play. So many other characters. Movies ripped that premise off, and this was the movie that really set those trends in the horror genre. And of course, nobody expected that this movie would become a big hit. Like I said earlier at the top of this review, because of the word of mouth, this movie became huge, became popular. They have Halloween conventions every year. Now, of course, this year's the 40th anniversary, so now you have a new remake coming out this year. I'm like, why is this? We already had one remake already, for the Rob Zombie remake, which I haven't seen and refuse to see. But why is there a second remake of Halloween event? I mean, it makes sense that they have because of the 40th anniversary, but they shouldn't have a remake of this film. This franchise. I mean, it was long played out in the 80s, early 90s. It was played out a long time ago. It shouldn't be another remake, but this was the original. This one was a really great horror film. The only one slasher films I really liked was maybe the first Friday the 13th film. It was just as good as the first Halloween film. Because they set the trend. But in terms of the Halloween franchise, this was really a great film. And if you have not seen the original Halloween film, I recommend everybody to see this thing. Especially if you haven't been before you see the second remake, and the second Halloween remake. Check out the original one before you see anything. That's my review of the first Halloween film. Please check on the video. Please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel. And please follow this video on your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews and all on my YouTube channel at RowdyC.com. That's all WDY and C.com. There's a homepage to Rowdy Review at Christy Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.